Hello everyone, and welcome to this Video Sans Frontier video. My name is Jay Wakefield, and today I was hoping to do a video on a Compaq Armada M700, but it's decided to have other ideas. So instead I thought I would give you a Jay Plays, because I'm not giving you one of those for a wee while. And what we're looking at today is the starting screen, or at least the new game screen, from the original Euro Truck Simulator from, I believe it was 2008. I discovered this game in 2012 and have been addicted ever since. And basically, the aim of this game, for those of you who don't know, is to basically you've got to drive different shipments of different things to different places. Sounds a wee bit simple, but basically you can choose kind of what you transport, and then the more you transport things, the more you transport things, the more money you'll get, and the more money you get, you can then apply for a hazmat license, things like that, and you can buy access to additional countries. So, with that said, what I think it's time to do is start a new game. Let's start in the United Kingdom, which in this case means England, if I'm honest. Although you can start in any one of the countries. There's in this game you have the United Kingdom, France, Spain, Portugal, Belgium, Holland or the Netherlands, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Italy, the Czech Republic, or Poland. So let's start in the UK, shall we? It seems like a very poor place to start, but hey. So that's it loading. Basically, the first thing that happens, you end up in a showroom, where you can look at trucks. Now, they don't have any actual licenses in this version of Euro Truck Simulator. They did get actual licenses to use rail trucks in Euro Truck Simulator 2. But with this one, basically what you can do, you select a truck. You start off with 174,000 euros, and you've got that to spend. Get yourself something. Get yourself something good. Oh wait, no, you start off with 100,000 euros. Yeah, sorry, I was thinking that was a bit much. So you want to start off with something nice and basic. So you could either get a Majestic, a Swift, and I can't even mind what the other makes are. But there's one that's basically, I think, a version of a MAN truck or something like that, no, it's oh yeah, you've got the Valiant, which I think is basically like the Volvos, but you've got you can kind of tell which one's which. So I'm going to take the Valiant, I think. So here you are inside your new truck. Got a nice interior. Obviously, different trucks have different interiors, and you can get stuff like digital speedos and what have you. But anyway, what we can do, it now goes into a tutorial. So let's start the engine. Oh, it's in reverse. To move your truck, use W to accelerate, or the up arrow, down arrow or S to reverse, A to turn left, and D to turn right. So it's basically the WASD keys are the arrows. Let me and you can also display the guide map while driving. Press M to see what happens, and then we've got a wee map in the top right corner. Pressing the M key, and then you've got a kind of a scaled down map which shows more of an area. And then you've got N to pick up, bring up the notebook. So there, you've got a full map that you can have a look at. So let's say you're going, one of my favourite journeys to do because it's the longest, one of the longest, Warsaw to Newcastle, and you can kind of get an idea, you know, where you'd be going with that. Plus the notebook has all kinds of access to other things like jobs and what have you. It's time to do your first job. Drive to the depot marked on the guide map. So, I believe it's this one up the road, just here. Okay. Seems that my steering is out of kilter. I'm gonna have to have a look at that. I'll just set the default. So I could use my Xbox controller. So let's see how that works. Okay, the steering works. So basically, what I've got to do is follow the map. So we're away to the depot. Yeah, I know the steering wheel's not really aligned properly, but that's more down to the controller. Okay, so now we've got a notebook of jobs that we could do. Let's go to Newcastle and we'll take a truckload of cheese up there. Maneuver the back of your truck under the front side of the trailer. And this is where we can use different views. And then here we can use a trailer. Use T to attach a trailer. And then okay. Now deliver the cargo to the depot mapped on the navigation map. F5. So again, you can always have a look, see where that is. And we find that actually that's in Newcastle, and for some reason it won't let me zoom in any further. That's nice. Anyway, so we've got to get from London to Newcastle. So I guess there really is no time like the present. Tell you what, while I'm here I'm going to set a couple more options to the controller. So what I can do is I could set things to the controller. So I'll do that. Actually, I think I will keep that as there we go. I'll keep the notebook stuff on the keyboard. Display mode, blah blah blah, left turn indicator, left shoulder button, right turn indicator, right shoulder button, hazard warning, joy down, headlights, joy. Actually, let's make it joy right like it is on Grand Theft Auto. You know what? Trailer attach. Where is that? Trailer attach. Make that there. Then horn. Wipers. Cruise control. And yeah, I think we're about ready to go. So now that I've spent all the video on the controls, obviously I've got to try and observe the speed limit. But really, in this version of Euro Truck Simulator, it doesn't really matter that much. They don't enforce you on that. They will enforce rules if you say crash into a car. So say if I didn't like that car coming up, and I decided to biff it because I don't like it. Oops. Didn't actually mean to do that. Then yeah, I get a traffic offence, and obviously, I risk damaging my truck or its cargo. So now we're on the way. We've turned onto the motorway, I believe it's the M25, or it could be the M1, I don't know. Oh yeah, and these indicators, like in every driving game, the indicators don't seem to believe in self-cancelling. I mean, and it is annoying how I can't actually use the right analog stick to actually look around. I mean, that is one of the things of gaming, the right analog stick is always look, So having to use the mouse to have a look around, or the keyboard, it's basically the equivalent of taking my hands off of the wheel. Alright. So here we are. And yeah, the horns beeping, and that's not necessarily me either. It's a sensitivity of this Xbox controller. It only seems to work really well in Grand Theft Auto. It's a bit odd. I'll have to see if I've got another one, because this one... The drivers in the other cars are probably like, oh, would you look at that hooligan in that truck beeping his horn? What's all that about? Just beeping his horn going down the Frog and Toad. Don't believe you. Don't Adam and Eve you. Nor do I like your leader, Nicola Sturgeon. I really don't like her at all. So, hey, keep politics out of this. Now, the advanced... Well, oh. Yeah, steering rack's gone. So we're going to be a while on the road, so I think what I probably could do with... I probably could do with doing is talking to you a bit about stuff. And I guess... you know, actually, while we're playing Euro Truck Simulator, I think now, while I'm actually driving on the road, would be a good time to chat a wee bit about the EU and how I feel about the EU referendum. Because, I mean, you know, it's in less than a month now, 23rd of June. You know, we're looking at a possible Brexit out of the European Union. British exit. Never liked these terms, because I remember... during when Greece, you know, they were in the heart of their recession and, you know, needing bailed out and what have you. And, you know, there were, all the tabloids were talking about a possible Grexit, which is Greek exit. Damn it, stay in your lane, you daft truck. So, how do I feel about the Brexit? Well... While I think... I'd like to say this now before I say anything. I think that the EU needs to become more democratic. You know? A lot of times it just kind of seems that, you know, we're getting a lot of these rules from Europe. You know, and some of them are a wee bit... Yeah. Like the fact that you can only, like, cameras... are only allowed to record for a maximum of 30 minutes. I mean, I don't like that. That's why has the EU got a directive in that? You know, things like that. I also believe that that we should be able to choose the EU president. You know, like they choose the president in the United States. Jings, I'm no good at this, guys. Whoa! But, I mean, I'm aware that basically every country gets to have a go. But, really, we should be able to elect, you know, officials high up in the EU, just as we send our members of European Parliament to Brussels. Now, that all said, I think that the EU, in its current form, is a good idea. Well, you know, as long as it's more democratic, it's a good idea. You know, there's you know, Union of European Nations, and you know, some of the stuff, and you know, everyone benefits from the EU. I mean, people go on about the money that we send out there. Oh, try again, Jay. People go on about the money that we actually send out to Brussels and what have you, and you know, there's a exit EU leaflet done the rounds that says, oh, with this money, you know, we could put lots into the NHS. You know, I can completely understand that, However, we do get a lot back. A lot of our cities, a lot of our down and out cities have actually, through European funding, have been revitalised. And if you happen to live on the east coast of Yorkshire, you'll be aware that some of the coast has been, the new measures to fight coastal erosion have been put in place. Probably should slow down. And that was European money that did that, about 10 years ago, 10, 11 years ago. They put in new measures to try and tackle coastal erosion. So, don't be so quick to judge about how much money we send out. Now, the flooding that happened in the UK, the European Union was poised to help us. But for some reason, the UK government did not accept that help. And I have no idea to this day why they would do such a thing. Now, talking of the UK government, and another thing that the EU does for us, the European Union has given us a lot of the human rights legislation that we actually enjoy today. So things like the Human Rights Act, the Disability Discrimination Act. Yes, it came in under John Major, but it was the European Union that made that happen. Also, another thing that happened was, thanks to European legislation, we have to have the Scottish, Irish and Welsh assemblies. And make no mistake, the UK would never allow us to have those things. Think about it. Think about it this way. Remember during the Scottish referendum, the UK came up with a vow, we're going to do all these things if you vote no and stay with us. Well, the vow was a lie, and one of the things that was said is, we'll make the Scottish Parliament permanent. They never did. They reneged on that promise. Now, if they had no plans to dissolve our Parliament, then making it permanent would be a formality that they would be quite happy to go ahead with. But they didn't. Why didn't they go ahead with it? Well, I would say it's quite simply because they must have plans to dissolve the Scottish Parliament at some point or another. And if we were to exit the European Union, they could do so quite easily without any kind of comeback. Now, there is a lot of reasons for leaving the EU as well. Like we would get other money for ourselves and, we'd be able to do things without European legislation. And I can totally understand people wanting to do that. Because I'm going to be honest, I've really been kind of on the fence about the EU in-out referendum. But one thing I will say, look how the current UK government want to get rid of human rights legislation. And look at the suffering that people with disabilities are already going through. Without the Human Rights Act, the Tory government could run completely unchecked. Now, I am aware that you can't base everything on... You can't base everything in the future on what one government are doing now. I was told that during the referendum. But it doesn't seem that the Tories are going to be leaving anytime soon. In fact, if anything, you know, they're trying to put in measures to make sure that they never get out of power. You know, for example, the short monies, you know, going to other parties for campaigning, that has been cut. Why has that been cut? We don't know. And don't tell me it's to save money, because Britain's in a lot of problems, you know, austerity and all that good stuff. Because Britain is not broke. If it were broke, they would not be thinking about spending millions of pounds on nuclear weapons of mass destruction. They would be chasing up tax evaders. And yeah, okay, this is not actually being very well done, but to be honest, I don't care. It's there. So I didn't damage the cargo. So there we go. I think, oh yeah, I did crash a couple of cars. So what we'll do is I'll take something to Manchester with me. We'll do another journey. But going back to what I was saying earlier, the European Union. I honestly, I don't trust the Tories. I just don't. So, you know, with that said, I mean, I personally think that, you know, at least for the foreseeable future, and as long as Scotland is part of the UK, I think, you know, we need to stay in Europe. You know, basically for safety. Because, you know, without the, you know, because the Tory party will basically just, they will literally get rid of our Human Rights Act. They have been wanting to do that for a good long time, you know, and if we lose our parliament, we will not be able to counteract anything that the Tories are doing. So, with that said, yeah, I think, you know, I'm still, you know, whether I would say, you know, whether I would say that Scotland should stay in the European Union, an independent Scotland, that really is a different matter. But with an independent Scotland, and this is something really quite interesting, during the referendum of 2014, it was actually discussed among the Scandinavian nations. In fact, I believe it was Norway who put it on the table. Scotland should be invited to join the Union of Scandinavian countries. And, you know, I think that would be a much better idea. You know, because Scandinavian countries tend to hold more liberal values. You know, they seem to be a lot more sensible about, you know, the way to go about things. Okay, there's going to be cases, you know, there are cases of things that I don't agree with what they've done. Like, for example, Sweden. You know, I'd heard tell that, you know, in a murder case, they couldn't find, who was guilty, so everyone got off. Whereas in the original case about the Pirate Bay, they couldn't decide which one of four suspects was culpable, so they all got jailed. Again, I don't know the facts of this case, so please don't quote me on that. But I mean, if that's true, that's not something I generally like. However, for most other things, I do like the way that the Scandinavian countries go about things. You know, and certainly countries like Finland. So, you know, if Scotland should become independent, I think, you know, we should actually join more with the Scandinavian Union, because, yeah, it just kind of suits Scotland better. And, well, it actually makes a lot of sense that it should suit Scotland better, because, you know, Scotland, you know, a lot of people in Scotland can trace their roots back to the Vikings, you know, and there's you know, some of the Isle. Jinx. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to stove your front end in, Mister, Mrs, whoever you are. I don't even know what car they're driving. One of some of the islands are actually the residents there actually have more in common with Norway than they do with Scotland. And so, yeah, I mean, there is that to consider. But, you know, like the Scandinavian countries, Scotland is very progressive. And no, I don't know what happened in the last election either, or why the Tories got in. I just don't know. But as far as the EU goes, I think we need to stay in. But that is not to say that, you know, I am in full support of everything that the EU does, because I know for a fact that I'm not. You know, certainly things like the transatlantic trade and investor partnership deals, you know, I think that is a very bad idea. It puts too much power into the hands of corporations. And, you know, anyone, it's like, I quite like how there's a lot of people who are Eurosceptic and are like, no, we want to manage our affairs from home. But they're quite happy to basically hand everything over to the superpowers, you know, the super corporations, the richest oligarchs in the world. You know, and they will do things for money, not for the betterment of humankind. And I think personally that is a total crock. Now, my character on this game is getting a wee bit tired. So, you know, if I don't find a rest area soon, I'm going to end up having to pay a fine for sleep avoidance. So, yeah, I'll start looking there. I've probably missed a turning where a gas station was, petrol station. So, yeah. One final thought about the European Union, though, before I get off of that subject, is the people who, a lot of the people who want out of the European Union, they're the same people who wanted Scotland to stay in the United Kingdom. Now, I know I'm the exact opposite, and that makes me no better. I will admit that. But at the same time, it is a wee bit childish for them to go, oh, I don't want another country meddling in my affairs. And then when I say, well, I don't want another country meddling in my country's affairs either, they're like, but this is this country. That brings, you know, no, Scotland's its own country. That brings me on to something else as well. The European Union is not a country. I mean, some people think that it's going to be, it wants to be the United States of Europe. Now, I don't know, but I personally think that, that is a dangerous idea as well. I really don't want to see the United States of Europe. Jings, I'm coming up to Manchester now. This looks like I'm going to be dropping my cargo off, and then I will find, there's the truck dealers actually let you shecky down in their car park, so that's kind of good. Right, I'm going to need to signal to turn right here. But no, I mean, Scotland is part of the United Kingdom, as in, you know, I mean, yes, we have things that are devolved, but a lot of the big things are handed over to the UK. I would say that Brussels has a lot less control into how the UK is run than what the UK does into how Scotland is run. I mean, I could be wrong. You know, if you are an unbiased person, then, you know, I'd be quite happy to hear from you. But, I mean, I certainly, you know, I certainly think that Westminster meddles more in Scottish affairs than what Brussels does in Westminster. But another quite interesting thing is, a lot of people say that we need to leave the European Union because of the number of immigrants that are just allowed to, you know, come into this country, apparently. Well, let me tell you about that. You see, an advantage of the European Union is, you know, there's free... I'm just trying to think how you would call it. But basically, EU citizens can go between member states, you know, without having to mess about with a visa or any of that stuff. You basically just kind of show your passport and then there's like, on you go. So, a lot of British people have taken advantage of that. You know, a lot of British people have retired out to Spain. So, there we go. So, you know, it's quite funny. It's like, so Britain's complaining, you know, Britain seems to be shouting all the odds about these so-called immigrants, you know, oh yeah, Britain's overfull. Well, let me tell you something. If we actually exited the EU and we expelled all of these nasty immigrants, oh how nasty they all are, oh dearie me, I'm getting all in together now, then a lot, we would actually be, instead of these people from different cultures, you know, giving our communities more of a vibrant feel, you know, more friendly feel. What we'd end up with is getting a load of crusty old British people back, and I'd be super annoyed because they were living in Spain and now they've come back to rainy old Britain, and you know, they really don't want to go back to living in Surrey or Essex or wherever they're from. And yeah, and actually a lot of people who came over in the EU, you know, through the EU, you know, they all work, you know. You know, they go on constantly about, you know, Britain being a nation of scroungers and what have you, but, you know, there's people who come to the UK and actually work. So, yeah. I guess I'm just kind of getting sick of all the rhetoric that's going round. You know, the government and the media have done a fantastic job of dividing us all up. You know, working people have to blame the unemployed for why they're not making as much money as they like. Unemployed people have to blame fraudulent benefits claimants, you know, people with disabilities. Because, of course, you know, oh, damn, I don't have... Everything here is a hazmat. Everyone else... yeah. So unemployed people have to blame, you know, people with... people scrounging on sick benefits for, you know, why they have got to, you know, why they get a hard time of it, try to claim job seekers and being unable to claim or what have you. And, well, who are people like myself to blame? The scrounging disabled people. Well, that's quite simple. I've apparently got to blame the immigrants for why I'm not able to actually get stuff that I should be entitled to. Am I going to blame immigrants? I think not. Because it wasn't someone coming over from Poland that said, hey, you're not allowed access to that. I think you'll always find it was actually someone in Westminster. Someone who was quite proudly born and bred in England, you know? Or the rest of the UK for that matter. So, yeah. Don't let the media use you as a pawn in their hideous game of I don't know what it is. Anyway, I think this is coming to the end of this video, and I think you've heard me blather on long enough about the European Union and, you know, things in general, all stuff like that. So before I do go, I just wanted to kind of let you all know that the next couple of weeks or so, I'm actually going to be taking a short hiatus. Don't worry, the channel's not going anywhere. I'm just not going to be uploading any content for a couple of weeks because you know, I am really quite busy right now. You know, I've got quite a lot of stuff that I need to get done. One of which is, believe it or not, compact related. You know, I want to be able to give that my full concentration. But in a couple of weeks, I'll be able to show you exactly what it is I've been doing. And, you know, I'll do a video about it then. But, you know, for the meantime, you know, if you're new to my channel, you've not seen my videos, you can always go back and have a look at my back catalogues of videos. That's absolutely fine. I'm not going to, you know, that's what they're there for. Also, you know, you can always interact with me through the Videos from Frontier page on Facebook and through my Twitter page. You know, the URLs usually do follow it after the end of, you know, at the end of my videos, as they will follow after the end of this video. So, you know, with that said, I think what I'm going to do is I will end this video here because otherwise I'll be taking you all back to Newcastle with me, and to be honest, unless you live in Newcastle, it's going to be quite a train ride home. So, I think what I will do, I think I'd like to thank you all for watching this video, and you know, like I said, please do feel free to follow me on you know, various channels. Subscribe to this channel, like Videos on Frontier on Facebook, and follow me on Twitter. But for the meantime, I will see you all in about a couple of weeks. Obviously, if I get done with the stuff that I need to really get sorted out sooner, then, you know, I will upload something. But you know, I just kind of need a couple of weeks to get certain things, you know, kind of sorted, and get myself rested up a bit as well, because I think I might need to revise up my thyroid meds, because, you know, I've been feeling a bit tired again as of late. So I think you know, it'll be quite a good thing to, yeah, I think it'd be quite a good thing to actually just kind of give myself a bit of a, you know, a resting time, you know. Or as Elmo3 said, oh yeah, Jay, your channel's taking a summer break. Well, if I am taking a summer break, I've not got anything planned. And here's the funny part: when I was at Penumbra, I had my videos all recorded beforehand and ready to go. And to be honest, I've not done that this time. So I'm really sorry for that. But yeah, I will try my best to be back within a couple of weeks or under. So, thank you all for watching this video, and please join me for my next one. Cheery bye.